the attendance. You know, most of you know I've been doing this a very long time, 84 years. You don't look that old.
You need a new tagline.
I actually have done it 42 years, but I've worked double hard, and I've worked twice as hard as anybody I've ever met in the industry, and that's including every single one of you in here. I'm sorry, I'm claiming that. And if you want to challenge me on it, I want to see your schedule. Anyway, but I love the business, I love the industry, I love agents, I just love the whole entire industry. It's a phenomenal industry. And I take a little bit of different approach than some people. I don't approach it as sales, I don't approach it as, you know, get rich quick. I approach it as a very, very important profession. I put it equal to medical and lawyers. If you really become a realtor and really understand what that means, you're entrusted with most people's largest asset. And but a lot of times it's treated as sales. I'm more of an organizational business development, and it's all about the being first. You know, be, do, and have. Most of us come into business, I want to do, give me a deal. Do you have any leads? I need a lead. You got a lead? Oh, you don't have any leads? I don't want to work for you. You got a lead for me? I don't know. It's not about that. It's about who do you become as a realtor first. Lawyers go to where in order to practice law school. Dentists go to where to practice dentistry. They go to dental school. Where do realtors go? Oh, Gold Coast. Right? And so anyway, I'm real big on that. Okay, you'll hear that over and over again as we have more exposure to going on. But today we're here for one purpose, and that is to talk about listings. You have to list to last. Now, some people may want to say, Fred, wait a minute. I know a person that's a buyer's agent, and I know a person that is very successful. All they do is work buyers. Exception, not the rule. This is the rule. Most ultra successful people in the real estate business became listers. The people who earn more money in the business is a lister. For example, here's a young man that I was part of his career. In 1989, when I came to Defalco, I hired this young man from Prudential, Florida in Realty. He was making $127,000 a year. His name is David Roberts. He went to work with me in 1990. I got him his first builder in Royal Palm. I said, let's do some marketing. Here's what you do. You want to become a specialist. You want to just focus on listings, David. Listings. Get your first, get your second. Here's his numbers this year. $330 million. Show me a buyer's agent that does $330 million. Unless they're in Hollywood, California, and they're tied into the stars, and they sold 3 houses last year. David, $330 million, he only sold 65 houses. Now you may say, I want to be a David Roberts. There's not many communities and opportunities left like that, but is it possible? It depends. You can change from what you're doing today and become a listing agent in commercial. Right? You may say, well, I didn't think I could work commercial. You can do anything you want in this industry if you take the right track. But it's all about listing today, and that's what I want to focus on. If you don't list, most likely you're not going to last, because you can only work buyers so long before you really get burnt out. Now, this is not anti-buyer. I love my buyers. What do they become? If you really keep track of them, and you keep in touch with them, and you love them, and you take care of them, what do they become? Listings eventually, right? So I don't want to mislead anybody, but in order to get your career jump-started, or if you're being stalemate in your career, listings, that's the name of the game. And how many people do really get a career started? Only 1 or 2. Because once you get one listing, they're so easy to duplicate if you work them. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I have probably about 7 hours of material that I can cover with you. But I've only got about an hour and 15 minutes here. So we want to get started right away. We are rolling the video?
Yep.
All right, super. All right, so let's first of all talk about just some general things. The business of listings, the business of real estate. What business are you in? Not anybody that knows the answer, if you've been around this office a little bit. But those who, you haven't been in the office, what business are you in? How long have you been licensed?
4 months.
4 months. What business are you in? Just one? Oh,
Business of helping people with their real estate transactions.
Good answer. What business? No, you probably know. You've been around a little bit. What business are you in, sir?
We're in the service.
The service business. So someone keep track of these. Service, and you said what?
Helping people with their
service and helping. Okay, that's similar. Somebody else hasn't been around. What business are we in?
Relationships?
Relationships. Okay, you hear that a lot. What else? What other business? What business we're in? Yeah.
Information.
Thank you. You've been around, see? I ask people with 20 years, 30 years, no one ever gives me that answer. We're in the information business. And the proof of that, look at Zillow, a non-real estate company came in and stole our industry by stealing our information. You've got LoopNet, non-real estate people came in, they stole our industry. They were information people. They understood what we had and we kept protected for many years, and they let them seek in the door. But that doesn't mean our industry's over, but the more information that you commit yourself to learning, the better. I was in Royal Palm this morning showing property. Everything, they know everything, every square inch of the place, they know every home, and they know everything because they're information specialists. And he didn't get that way by just deciding one day that's what he's going to do. He just practice. So in order to be a listing agent, you've got to understand what business you're in. And you've got to be committed to information on a daily basis. If you're really going to become a listing agent and have listing opportunities, you've got to start with the information. The very basic, and you've heard me say this before, give me 5 stockbrokers and I line them up. And this one here, I don't want to point finger, but I'll do it. You've got 5 stockbrokers. One is ready to quit because they hate the business. They've been at it 3 years. They can't seem to make it work. You've got the next one that's making $100,000 a year. The next one that's making $200,000. The next one's making $500,000. The next one's making $1 million a year. I can tell you the habits of each single one of them. As if you told me what your production was the last few years or the last 6 months, and you told me how many listings you had or didn't have, I can tell you what your daily habits are most likely. Because if you're going to become a listing agent, if you commit to daily, the first thing you do before you start your day is consuming information of the business. And that is what homes in your little sphere, 3 blocks around your house, 5 blocks, a mile around your house, 2 miles around your house, what listings expired today? Which listings expired 3 blocks around your house today? What listings expired a mile around your house today? Can anybody answer that? Tell me right now what expired this morning? When you woke up? You can. Good. He's doing the right job. He's studying his information in the morning because that's what you want to do. So, because if you want to become a listing agent, you just need one opportunity and you'll break open a business. You'll break open just 1 or 2. But then you got to do all these other things we're going to talk about because once you get that phone call, you got to at least be prepared with something basic. I'm only going to give you basic stuff here. Elevator pitch. Who wants to volunteer their elevator pitch for me? What's your elevator? How many, you all know what an elevator pitch is? You got into an elevator and someone said, oh, hi, how are you? My name's Fred. Your name is?
My name is Joanne.
What do you do, Joanne? Oh, okay. Is that your elevator pitch?
That will be
Okay. You get it. Anybody else? 30-second elevator pitch? 30 seconds or less. Anybody? Anybody? Go to YouTube. Study elevator pitches. You've got to have an elevator pitch. Hi, I'm Fred Defalco. I'm a real estate strategist. I specialize in getting sellers homes sold in 30 days or less for more money than anybody else. And I also specialize in buyers, making sure they never make a decision that they'll regret later on. Hi, here's my card. I'm Fred Defalco. Now, I don't care. I want them to hear my pitch first. What am I bringing? What's my value proposition? I came up with strategies years ago. That was kind of my strength. So you've got to have an elevator pitch. Please study elevator pitches. I hope my memory will serve me because next time I see you tomorrow, if you're in the office, and say, hey, what's your elevator pitch? I'm going to ask you, what's your elevator pitch? What's your elevator pitch? What's your elevator pitch? You've got to practice your elevator pitch. Paul, what's your elevator pitch?
I just smile.
There you go. Hey, wait a minute. Is that an elevator pitch?
Sort of.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Right?
I use my last
You know why? You know why that works for him? Because you know they're 90 years old. You can't say
It's a family establishment. You understand that, right?
What'd you say,
I
Judy?
said I used it last night. The person next to me had just gotten into 2 car accidents and was like, I'm just getting all this money and I need to invest my money. And I literally was like, well.
And my text started blowing up.
I said,
I got this person with all this money. What do I do?
Like, yeah,
That was
yeah,
good.
so
That was very good.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so please go to YouTube and study elevator pitch. Go to YouTube, study how to become a very successful listing agent. You don't really need to be here. You all can leave now. That's the seminar. There's so much information, folks. Because, you know, the reason people don't have listings is because of the BS. Right? You don't have, how many of you don't have any listings? How many of you don't have? Let me see your hands. Be honest. Come on. How many of you don't have any listings off? Okay? How many of you have one or fuel. So is there one? Okay, you have one that's pending already. Okay. How many of you have 3 or more? Okay. How many have 5 or more? How many have 10 or more? Oh, okay. Yeah, that got down. Okay. Well, you are where you are because of your BS. And that, what does the BS stand for? Belief system. It's your belief system. And you may say, well, no, Fred, it's because I don't know what to do, or I don't have the talent, or I don't. It's your belief system. That's all it is. You don't believe that you deserve it. You don't believe that you should even get ready for it because you couldn't do it if you had a chance. Right now, if I said to you, hey, I just got a call from Joe Smith. I sold him his house 3 years ago, and he wants to sell it. Rob, he'll be here in 15 minutes. Please go get your car and go get your listing presentation and take care of that for me, will you?
What's the address?
No, he's coming here. Would you be ready with a listing kit?
Sure, I need his address though.
Okay, well, of course. Would you can you go get your listing kit in your car right now? Can you go get it for us and show us it too? Oh, good. You have a kit ready to give to him. Fantastic. This is what I'm talking about. You've got to be ready. Okay? Got to be ready. What's that?
I made it last
Oh, you made it last night. Oh, good. You didn't have to say that.
No, but I.
Come on.
But
But anyway, you've got to be ready, right? So, but how many of you here are dressed? If I said, hey, I just got this guy that has a $750,000 listing, he's coming in and wants to list it, or he wants to see me right now, I can't handle it, can you go handle it for him? How many of you are dressed right now for $750,000 listing?
All right.
Okay, sure. All right, good. You got to dress the part, okay? You got to dress the part. You got to be ready. You better have a listing presentation in your car. You should have a listing contract, and it's got to be now. You can't wait and then hurry up and prepare, right? And then being prepared is the key. Being prepared is the key. You have to have bullets. You have the listing kit that you're saying you have in your car is a bullet. How many of you, if you've got a listing today, even if I gave you one, how many of you would be ready for an open house tomorrow with your sign, with your photo, and you have at least 50 of them? Very good. Very good. You got to be ready. You got to have bullets. Okay. Special cards. How many of you have more than one business card that you hand out? Very good. What is your different business cards?
I have a round edge one, square edge one, then I have for my mobile app.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. And the other thing is, it doesn't always have to be a business card, because if you're going to look at your information in the morning and study your information, the 5 stock brokers I'm talking about, their habits, they vary. The one who's making 100,000 versus the one making $1 million a year. The other one studies their information 10 times harder, and they know their information. They know their market. When I came to Boca, I tell a story of a lady named Marjorie Kent. Look her up. Marjorie's about 79 now. She's still in the business. She still lists a lot of real estate. Marjorie, I'll never forget, on the first day in my office when I took over a company here in Boca, she got a phone call. We used to have what we call floor time. We had ads to her. She picked up the phone. She said someone from New York was calling about something. She said, oh, let me tell you about this community, this community. Oh my gosh. It was like she was like a walking, talking database. She's always done multi millions of dollars every year in and year out. She knows her market. She only stays in Boca, and she's a pretty big buyer's agent, but she does pretty good on listings. But information, she's always prepared. Your bullets, for example, if you're looking at your expireds in the morning and you're ready to go out, on your way here, you should have stopped by. You should have looked at your hot sheet, and the 2 or 3 that you saw stopped by. It only takes an extra few minutes before you got here, and knock on the door. And then you have not only your business card, but you have a little special postcard you've already made up, or something to leave behind, like a flyer or whatever you have, but you should have something to leave behind. A little small postcard saying, hey, I specialize in getting people's homes sold that didn't sell. Please, I stopped by to see you today, give me a call. Then at the same time, you see someone walking their dog on the way here because you stopped and knocked on the door, no one's home, but you saw the person walking the dog. What do? You don't get in your car and leave. You say, hi, I'm Fred Defalco. I'm a real estate strategist. I help people get homes sold in 30 days or less, and usually for more money than a conventional system. I stopped by to help these people this house today. I can't believe this. Look at this MLS system. I don't understand why it didn't sell. Do you have any thought on this? I guarantee you, 1 out of 100 people would be the only one to say, what are you talking about? You're strange. Most of them wouldn't talk to you. They love talking to real estate. They love talking to real estate. So you have so many opportunities to get exposure to a listing. Not only do you get you 1 or 2 or 3, because when you get them and you put your 50 signs out and you hold it open, then you're going to get more calls. Listings breed more listings. Listings also breed buyers. So, but you've got to be prepared, because then you'll change your BS, your lot of BS. what motivated me to become a listing agent my first year in the business, and I led the company out of 300 realtors, the number of listings taken in my first year, and I won the Rookie of the Year. Mostly, 90% of them were for sale owners. The balance were expires. And what led me to this, my mentor taught me, he said, Fred, what do you say? You don't have any listings? Do you know I can take a jackass, I can put a sign on it, a sandwich sign, and it says, list your home here. And if I sent it out in this community, I guarantee you that jackass in 1 month would have 2 listings or more. Now, Fred, what's wrong with you? That's the way I was taught. That was the way I was taught. There are people out there ready to list their homes today, folks. They're listing their homes. And when you study that information on a daily basis, your hot sheet, I mean, you know what I mean by hot sheet? You can put the parameters in, and you see that new listings came on the market. You go, wow, the business is active. You see people selling, you go, wow, that's $600,000 sale, that's a lot of commission. Or this person sold 3 sales last month. That's a lot of commission. And it encourages you that you're in a great business. Because I hear a lot of people quitting and they say, the business is not for me. Well, the business is bad. The business is not good or bad out there. It's good or bad in here. It's your belief system. So you gotta be prepared with these things. So hopefully today, when I go with just this basic listing presentation, it's going to give you enough confidence to go copy this. This is on Workplace. How many of you are on Workplace? Most of you should now have already been invited to the South Florida page, not mine, ours, the South Florida group page. You're now, any of you do not know what I'm talking about, the South Florida page in Workplace? Because all these documents are in there. If you're not in there, send me an email, answers@defalco.com. Hey, I'm not on your Workplace, and I'll make sure you're in there. Because this is where all these documents you're going to find them. So this is very basic. This is the way that I've always done listings, okay, is with this emphasis. So I want to give this emphasis and see if it resonates with you. If it doesn't, then you're going to modify it and change it, correct? But if I were new coming into the business, or if I was having a struggle with listings, I would take this and duplicate it exactly the way you see it. And I would utilize me, I would utilize Paul, I would utilize Tony, I would utilize anybody in this room and say, you know, I got a member on my team, let me tell you something, they've been doing this, 42 years, right? And I have that in there, but it's up to you what you want to do with it. So, because what am I to you? I'm sorry. What else? Partner. Thank you. Business partner. Or, what else? In listings, you say, oh my gosh, my broker. And you can say, associate broker. My associate broker, oh my gosh, if I don't do a good job, I'm in trouble. So, and you see where I put this in here. You utilize me, they say, listen, my business partner, one of them alone, just one of them alone did 200 sales last year. We all team up together. You're going to see where I point some of this out, the difference. So, the seller success plan, that's what I call this. And you can modify this, you can change these images, whatever you want, it's a PowerPoint. The way I always talk about with sellers, listen, Mr. Seller, Mr. Smith, strategy equals success. I'm here today for one reason only. I want a job interview. And I'm here today as an interview. I want to become your listing agent. I want to become the manager of this listing. So I'm here to apply for a job. If you just give me a few moments, I want to tell you what I do different and the strategy that I use in making sure you sell your home in the time frame that fits you best for more money and with fewer problems than anyone else. I don't want you to say that, but I think what you see my strategy, you may agree that I may be the better choice. So I'd just like to share some of these things with you. This is my strength as a strategy, not only mine, but my entire team, which I'm going to tell you about. And every piece of real estate is unique. I know you have 18 other homes in your area, but some agents are going to come in, and they're going to show you a bunch of comparables, and they're going to run a market analysis, and that's what I call them, which most times causes paralysis, because I don't like market analysis. But mine's going to be different because I wanted it to all be about strategy. Every transaction demands a distinct and proper strategy. I don't care if it's townhouses all in a row. Every one of them deserve a distinct and proper strategy. The marketplace, there's all types of people out there every day, and this changes every day, Mr. Seller. This person might be in the market today. They may break their leg and not be back for 6 weeks. They may be in town just for a weekend, looking. Like I just had someone yesterday, and they wanted to look because they're curious. and you have all those people. So the market, I have to come up with a strategy to balance your time and price just right so I can hit as many of these as possible. So it's very important that we really have a strategy before I leave here today. You notice what I just said? That we have a strategy. Okay? It's just, it's like, hey, hopefully I can build some confidence. Hey, I think that we can talk about something. Mr. Seller, Zillow just did a recent study. More than a third of Americans cry while selling their homes. This is a study. It was done. 36% of all American home sellers have cried at some point while selling their homes. A nerve-wracking experience that can rival a divorce, dramatic breakup in terms of stress. A whopping 20% of the sellers who admitted shedding tears did 5 times or more. 5 times or more. Why? Well, because of the decision they made right before they put on the market. Mr. Seller, I have a we have a mutual objective here. I want to sell your property, and I want to sell it at the highest possible price, in the time manner that's best for you, most favorable terms, fewest problems, and I want to do it without shedding a tear. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I can do it. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to tell you I'm going to sell your home. I'm here to manage the process. Because there's something you're going to see from my checklist how many items there are that we cover. The listing agent must be a leader and accountable. Let me tell you what I do in the community. And you're going to be different. You're going to be different. You're going to say, my community, you know, my wife say, a dentist, and we're involved in our community, and this and that. We're all going to have a different story, how you're a leader, right? And what you do. If you're not a leader, go lead a Boy Scout club or a Girl Scout, whatever it is, but you've got, you know, you have to be a leader and accountable. And I'm accountable, and I'm going to show you who I'm accountable to. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, Mr. Seller. I have more integrity in that. I'm going to tell you what we need to do to develop a strategy that's going to get you more money in the fewest possible. Anybody you hire should be backed by a great team. It's just not the agent. It's I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. It's what team are they on and who is their team leader. Please look at that when you make this decision. Genuine communication. Any other person I'm going to complain of sellers is the lack of genuine communication with their agent. That won't happen with me, and I'm going to show you. I have checklists and I have accountability to my leader to make sure that doesn't happen. This is what I'm here for today, Mr. Seller. I'm going to apply for a job. You have 33,000 opportunities. There's 33,000 people in our board of realtors. I hope you're not going to interview all 33,000. Now, of course, I'm not going to get into a lot of the details when you make it friendly because we're here at different, but I would say that. Is to become the marketing manager of that property. Mr. Seller, in this business is pretty interesting. If you make the right choice out of those 33,000 people, it should cost you 0. Matter of fact, if it's the right agent, they should make you money. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to make you money and not cost you money. Just something this simple alone, home buyers found that photos to be one of the most useful features in that AR. Photos. Photos. Listings with high quality photos sell 32 times faster. There's our time strategy I was telling you about, Mr. Seller. Listings in our MLS, out of 52,000 listings in our MLS, 52,000 listings, sir. You are competing with 52,000 listings. Only 40% have 20 or fewer photos. See, if you have your information, and this is exact, go look it up, I studied it. This is exact. So if you have information, that's valuable. Listings in $200,000 to $1 million price range include high quality photographs. They'll get $3,000 to $11,000 more. That's my point, sir. If you would choose someone and the right person, they should make you money and not cost you money. This won't happen with me. This won't happen with me, I promise you. And the communication will be perfect. My communication with you will be perfect. I make sure that your listing stands out because there's. I just told you there's 52,000 listings. Do you want to compete with 52,000 listings without having it stand out? Virtual tours and videos. Out of 51,150 listings in our MLS today, only 663 have videos. Sir, ma'am, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, whoever you're talking to, that's not going to happen with me. Not only that, you're probably, not only that, you're going to have multiple videos. you're gonna have multiple videos. Because I've got some maniacs in my office. They love their video. They've got these little gadgets they go out, and I'm gonna send them out video on there and put it all over their Facebook, put it all over their social media. I got two people in particular. We have two people that are really good at the video. Barbara and John doing a great job. But anyway, with my listing with you, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna have multiple videos. Let me just point that out again. And I used to do something a little bit different. 663 out of 51,000, sir. It is really important who you hire as your marketing manager. Wouldn't you agree, Ken? Wouldn't you agree?
Sure.
You know, you just wouldn't you agree? It's kind of important who you hire. Remarks and supplements. Only 5% of listings utilize all the space to describe a property. Sir, many of them are blank. The extra addendums and stuff are blank. I don't care if I'm selling a $55,000 shack. I can fill up the MLS because there's always something to say about the neighborhood and the community. Proprietary website. You're not only going to be on my website, you're going to have your own website because every one of my listings get their own website, and then I quickly show them the site, right? And you know how much that is. They're all over the place. Single property website. I use a company. I'll put that in. And so I'm here today to apply for that job. Now I'd like to show you my other plan, and this thing is giving me a little issue. I'm going to try and pull this up. I hope that it pulls up. Nope, it's not cooperating, so I'm going to show it to you. Okay, it did. Good. So this is where this is the next sheet that I grab, is I say, sir, you know, talk. You're going to hear a lot from a lot of people, but this is my action plan for your property. And this is my seller success plan. And you just you can't go all of these. This is and you start going through these. Sure, week one alone, this is what I and my staff will be doing for you. And if this is not done, by the way, this guy, my team leader, this guy, Fred Defalco, and I encourage you, if you don't have a lot of experience, you may want to take Paul's resume and put it. This guy, my associate broker, oh my gosh, if I don't do this stuff, you know, I mean, I'm accountable. I told you I'm accountable. And he knows strategy. I'm going to take, if you feel you need confidence, right? He said, my business partner, my associate broker, or Paul, or anybody, you know, take Glenn Sanford, I don't care. You know, also, you know, not only this guy, but I would have George Philbeck. If I was starting here, I would have George Philbeck's resume. The number 3 Keller Williams agent in the world at one point. The number 3 Keller Williams agent in the world. I would have his bio. I would call George. I would have such a backup for this stuff. So, but this thing here, this is a clincher every time. When you start showing them and not just telling them, this is all in the workplace. And it's already, this is generic, doesn't have my name on it. And I'm going to keep improving these things daily, right? So you go to the weeks. Is it scrolling, guys? Is it on?
Yep.
And from there, this is what we're doing on a daily basis. And then you just scroll down, and then you show them your proprietary website. You show them, you know, once the offer is received, you're not going to leave them. You're going to do a post-sale follow-up, so on and so forth. So you show them an action plan. And this is just the job resume application. Because what are you there for? To be hired, right? You're applying for a job. And I'm not afraid to tell people that. Now, in addition to that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the for-sale owners, I've got some backup material here, you know, about eXp. You know, you have other personal information about yourself. What I used to do was I had a guarantee page. And I'm old-fashioned. I don't use laptops and presentations to sellers because I like to turn it with nice plastic pages. And I used to say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is my guarantee page. And the way I led the company and took a listing a week for 1 year is I would open that page. I was only 22 years old, 23 years old. I opened that page up, and it was me, my family. With, you know, at that point when I started, it was 3 kids, and then it became 4. And I said, this is my guarantee page. If you entrust me with this job, if you entrust me with your property, I promise you that for your sake and their sake, I'm going to do my job. And they would look, you know, especially the wife was there, it was great. Oh, honey, look, I'm going to hate you. And it would work. And so that's why I say, if you really want to become a listing agent, simply go to YouTube. Look up Danielle Kennedy. Listen to her story. She's as old as I am. Danielle Kennedy, who was a very successful realtor. When she went out on a listing appointment, she drove a different type of car. When she went out on a listing appointment, she dressed differently. Down, by the way. Down. There's a long story. Mike Ferry was her manager. Let's try to find the old story. I'll have to try to find that for you. Mike Ferry insisted that he go out with all his agent listing presentation and how he found out how Danielle Kennedy was the listing leader in the entire company for about 500 people and what she would pull in the listing. But not pull, she was marketing. She was marketing. She was applying for the job and she got it. So you could have a guarantee page in yours. What could be, tell me somebody, what could your guarantee be? Because I mean, some of you are so darn old, I know you don't have small kids. It could be your grandkids. Today, if I were going back out, and if I felt I needed it, I would put a picture of my 60 grandkids, really 8, but I have 8 others. I have 8 surrogate grandkids. I would put a picture of all 16 of them. What can you put on the guarantee page?
Family kids.
Family kids?
I worked for the year.
You work for the earth? Hey, you know what? You may resonate with somebody, right? Or you just may not have it. If you feel like you don't have something. Anybody else? Anybody else? How many of you have heard of social entrepreneurship? Do a study on social entrepreneurship. One of my ambitions down the road is Entrepreneurial Coalition International, which is a nonprofit organization. And social entrepreneurship is sweeping the country. So you may want to become a social entrepreneur. One of the people in Boca, who knows the person in Boca that puts that all over their Facebook page, a social entrepreneur? Who is it? Mike Lickman. Do that. He does the children's network. Every deal. He goes and he has his flyers and he has this. On his listing presentation, sir, not only do I work to make a living, but I also work, I really believe in his cause. That's his guarantee page. Social entrepreneurship, look that up. You may want to become one. I would have in there, and I would talk about the eXp difference. And the eXp difference is we're only one company, all in one. The way our company's structured, sir, we're one company not only around the United States, all throughout Canada. And now England, Australia, Australia. But more importantly, it's how we work locally. I have 7 people that work with me and help me that are big, as I told you. Here's Fred Defalco over there. Here's George Philbeck. Here's Paul Saperstein, 200 deals a year, listed in the Wall Street Journal. This is my team. This is my team. I have Tony Defalco. He did $700,000 for me.
Real quick, all the new agents, you just, who's this guy? Paul, just put everything very succinctly. They looked at one of the youngest agents, he's 20. He's a firecracker. They go, you're awfully young. He said, my team alone closed 500 transactions last year. That's it. Because I've been, I tell everyone you have this many, you know, we all have the, now, my team closed 500, period, end.
That's right. Remember I said the listing agent must be accountable and be on a good team and have accountability.
Right, so that's, if you're brand new, you just say that.
Perfect. Or old, same thing.
Well,
right?
no, but new. No,
Yeah.
if you're new, yeah, same thing.
I mean, I'm not walking as old as I am that ought to go, hey, I don't know this guy's energy to do my listing, or, you know, is he worn out or old? And I may, but I say, hey, I'm made up of, and that's what I'm saying. Yep. And this is the eXp difference, folks, and we haven't been emphasizing enough, but we're going to do more and more of that. So you want to point that out. The other thing you want to do is, before you go there, you want to either make sure they have Wi-Fi or you have a hotspot on your phone. If you don't have hotspot on your phone, make sure you get it. You don't all know what hotspot is, or you log into your laptop. And you may want to quickly show them the world and pop them into New Jersey and New York, because where all our customers come from. Say, sir, at a click of a button, just show them the United States if you don't take the time. Say, I go to New York, I'll go into their meetings, I'll promote your listing. On Workplace, you can start, Alan, did you do Workplace yet? The Boston Connection? What's the name of your group?
I haven't set that up, but I mean, I've been poking around.
Okay, but you've been doing all the advertising up in Boston.
Craigslist, yeah.
Yeah, is it working yet?
I haven't gotten it yet, no.
But you keep it up, in the Boston Globe.
I just reposted.
But every one of you, if I were from Boston, like he was a contractor in Boston, I would have the Boston to Florida group. And I would start to talk to everyone in Boston and try to pick me up on a bunch of referral rates. And then I'd get to a listing and say, sir, I have a direct connection in Boston. Let me show you my page. I have 300 people in Boston referring to me. You can start any group you want. How many of you are from a different area? Hello, right? So we are very unique, very unique. the workplace is what I was just talking about. I said something about I hate market analysis. Most people get a listing, they go with MLS and they run a market analysis. I don't like market analysis. I'm an auctioneer. In our industry, we talk about what is the AMV. Someone help me out here. What is AMV?
Is it automated model valuation?
Wow, that's not it, but that's pretty darn good. I like that. Or I'll change it, maybe authentic. I like that. That's not it, but that's good.
Aftermarket value?
No. Come on. No. Come on. What is it?
Appraised market
No,
value.
no, almost.
Oh.
Assumed market value.
Mm.
In the auction industry, I'm going to teach you this because you can use this in conventional. I do it all the time. I'm working on a $950,000 listing over in Bristol Point. I sold it to them 20 years ago. And, you know, if I would have went in there market analysis, I would have probably got the listing immediately. And I would have failed like the other 5 that are already currently listed. So I went in with this, and he said, well, tell me what there's in the value. And I talked him into building a 4-car garage. When I built it, I taught everybody into building a 4-car garage when they build a new home, because in Florida it's valuable. So how much difference you going to get me now? You told me I should do all this stuff. He went into market analysis. I said, hold a second. Only thing I did, I went and took 5 of the active, and I took the penny, just the full print. I sat with him. I said, look, Barry, listen to me, please. Our entire focus needs to be on assumed market value. And that's a subjective value, because it's what I may think, what you may think, what the buyers may think. But here we got 5 listings on the market for more than 3 months. Some of them been on the market now for 200-some days. Why? We have to assume what your market value is. I always focus on, and a lot of times I'll do it sitting with the seller. This particular one I had to. So guess what I did? I took out my cell phone. I said, let's just see where we are. I called the first listing agent. Fortunately, when you've been around long enough, you know a lot of them. Paul Fishman used to work for me. He was one of the listing agents. Somebody else that I knew, but the other 2 or 3 I didn't know. And fortunately, I got, I think it was 4 out of 5 I reached. So guess what do you think I heard when I said, hey Paul, this is Fred Defalco. I'm calling about Bristol Point Way or whatever it was. I see it's been on the market 200 days. It looks like such a great house. And by the way, I had 16 photos. I just had the full listing. I said, it looks like a great house. He said, oh, Fred. He said, that house. He said, you know what the problem is in Bristol Point? You know, it's all the new stuff. Guess who was doing my job for me? The seller's eyes started rolling. He said, not only that, the seller just doesn't have. And I didn't tell him it was on speakerphone with my seller. You know, I want the information, right? So I said, oh, okay, Paul. I said, and he said, not only that, he said, but the painting's a little bit dated. Blah, 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 blah. And I'd already talked to my people about it. So they started giving me a little kickback. That's when I said, all the answers are going to go to some market value. Well, I made those 4 calls, and by the time I was finished, they're now repainting the whole house. They're getting a new roof. They're doing everything I told them to do. And I said, because otherwise, we're going to be sitting here a year from now, too, and you're going to jade your value. I don't want to put it out there. And most likely, it looks like we may be putting up for public pricing to shut the other ones down. So you want to work on this assumed market value. And then what do you think it is? You're entitled to your opinion, Mr. Seller, but the jury is out there, and we don't want to wait and you start showing all the expireds in the community, or you show the number of days in the market. We don't want to wait 222 days for the decision of the jury, do we? So let's really be strategic about this. This is in the auction business, okay? And this has been proven over and over again. With absolute auctions especially. How many of you know the difference between absolute auction versus reserve? The absolute auction means that I'm going to sell 222 Main Street on this date regardless of price. Okay, if you go to my website, you'll see we did a large one about 5 years ago. It was forced by the courts. We knocked it out of the park. Absolute auctions are wonderful, but very few people will be able to do them because they're afraid and they don't understand it. But when you do an absolute auction, this is so critical that you work real hard on what you assume the market value is, because once you come up with that, it's still a WAG approach, wild ass guess. Once you come up with the assumed market value, I guarantee you, you're going to be here on this side or you're going to be here on this side. There's just no question about it. I've seen study after study after study of the auction industry. I had a $3.9 million house. We did public pricing on my first one, by the way, when I formed this trademark system called public pricing. $3.9 million house in 2010 when nothing was selling. Nothing was selling. And, you know, I said, I've got to come up with something unique. We put it out there, call for offers, call for offers. Our first phase, if you read publicpricing.com, you'll see how it works. First phase, we had 0, but no one knew it. So we put it out for the second phase. Well, I got a $35,000 marketing check for that house, 1% of assumed market value, because I had assumed that it would be 3.5 million. That was my assumption. The seller wanted 5 million, because he had 5.2. That was 2010, keep in mind. It was a mess. I ordered an appraisal, because I had a $35,000 budget to spend. I ordered an appraisal from David Allcamp here in Boca. David came in at $3,950,000. He said, Fred, I stretch it as far as I can stretch it. I stretched it. I put that in my pocket. Of course, except the seller now. Put that in my pocket. This is strategy, folks. I put that in my pocket, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to get somebody from out of the area, Boca Raton. And I got someone from Palm Beach to come down. Because I had a lot of money, right? I had $35,000 to spend. So that was a part of my marketing. Guess what that one came in as? And I can show you these appraisals. It's crazy. $3,950,000. He came in at $3,570,000. I think it was. There's a little odd number in there. $3,570,000. How much is that spread right there? Someone tell me. What's that spread?
400.
No, percentage-wise.
10%.
Huh?
10%.
Thank you. There's 10% spread, right? Now, here's what happened. After we did the public pricing, phase 1 didn't work. Phase 2, I said, no one knew why. Oh, by the way, in public pricing, we do a thing during this promotion, spending $35,000, guess the final selling price. Guess what? Just take a wild guess what the guess the final selling price came out to be from nosy neighbors, realtors, mortgage brokers, all the 37, 40 people we had come through that house in 1 month. Guess what the the guess the final selling price was? It was $3,850,000. Something real close to that. Unbelievable.
What was it listed at? What did you decide?
Public pricing, we don't put a price.
Oh, they just.
Yeah, we call for it, right? We play with the price. It's a long story. That's another subject, another training session. But just to make the point of assumed market value, phase 2, I said, hey folks, the public has priced this. We've had our phase 1. It's now ready for sale. The first person to come along at $3,950,000 absolutely will buy this home without a question. I no more got it in MLS. I no more got a big bunch of flyers out. Because remember, I had $35,000 to spend. That's a nice deal. I got a call from a brand new agent at the Kai's company. He said, Fred, I see this house. Tell me about this house. He said, I just moved from Alabama, and about 2 years ago, before I moved from Alabama, this guy, he sold a cell phone company. He made gazillions of dollars. He's now living up in Stamford, Connecticut. When he heard I was moving to Florida, he says, you know, if you ever hear of a special deal, let me know. He said, I'm going to send him this deal. This sounds like a great deal. I said, you are right. It's a great deal. Kid you not, folks. I said, look, here's the deal. I said, this is a steal. Please tell your guy. I can't hold it. He said, I'll call you right back. He comes back. This guy said he's getting on the plane tomorrow. Can you hold it until tomorrow? I said, let me check. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. About 4 seconds later, I said, yeah, we can do that. I said, you make sure you tell him that we got it. So we called Glenn up. We said, you got it. Flew down the next day, looked at it. He said, before I put the offer in, Fred, give me another, just give me until tomorrow. You want to go see Roll Palm? You want to go see some other? This was a Spanish rental income. Long story short, he bought that house for $3,950,000. Bought that, but now he throws out, I only want to do one thing. I only want a mortgage for $1.5 million. Is it okay? I'll make sure I put in there about the appraisal. So I said, oh shoot, remember this is 2010. He puts a condition on the appraisal. I said, okay, I'm getting on it out. Guess what his appraiser came back with? From the Miami bank he was buying $1.5 million from. Uh-oh. $3,150,000. $3,150,000. What's that spread? What's that spread? How much? 800,000. 20%, isn't it? Huh? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Right? Now, in a little bit decent market, I may have gotten 4.9 for that. I've seen that before. I saw it with a marina I did down in the Keys, the Florida Keys. I couldn't believe I got $6.2 million for a marina that I thought was worth about $4 million. It was or $5 million. It's crazy. But this proves assumed market value is very critical and important because you're going to have this variation of. These are licensed state appraisals. To make this long story short, so I can wrap this up. He calls me up. He said, Fred, I got a problem. I love the house, but there ain't no way I'm buying that house for those $3,950,000. This is crazy. $3 million. And I said, are you near a computer? He said, yeah. I said, I want to send you something. What do you think I sent him? I sent him this. He said, you got to be kidding me. I said, that's this business. He calmed down, we negotiated. I threw in $200,000 worth of furniture, knocked the price down to $3,600,000, I think it was, and we sold it. Strategy? Is that strategy? But more importantly, you've got to understand assumed market value. Get away from market analysis and try to work on that assumed market value. And you may say, wait a minute, Fred, you can do that. You've been doing this all these years. No, I just told you, just call people in front of them. Look, what's the most important when you're going to get the listing? The most important thing to look at, the number one, only one thing that's important. What is the most important? Well, you're going to get, as far as pricing is concerned. Bottom line, yeah, but what else?
What's sold?
No, not sold. I thought you started saying, listed, what's their competition? Then it did on your competition, how far can I stretch this? I've done that many times. So it's what your competition is. And then you're pending. So if you're like Bristol Point, look it up. And I wish we had time. I'd go through that assumed market value analysis I did for you, right in front of them. No fancy forms, no fancy computers. Hardcore, let's look at the assumed market value is. And you look and you've got 5, 6 on the market. You have one pending that was pending for like 3 months, still didn't know it was going to close. It's a mess. So they're in trouble.
I do that, but they don't listen. They're still fixed on that freaking number. It's like,
Are there some people that go to an oncologist, they say, hey, you have stage 4 cancer, we need to operate tomorrow, and they don't listen to that doctor? Absolutely. It's the nature of the human, it's the human nature. Sometimes it's good you don't listen to them. Maybe it's good they didn't listen to you. Because you might not have your numbers right. The more you are confident in your own, not confident, the more you are studying this stuff. You know, go to YouTube, look up assumed market value. I don't know if you find some of these stuff from here from the auction industry or not. But the more you know your information, you're confident. Where's Teddy? Oh, Teddy's here. Teddy is just started with me a week or so ago doing public pricing because we're taking it public as far as digital marketing, all this other kind of stuff. And so Teddy he came from Miami-Dade College and where he was working down there doing digital marketing. He comes in and of course he has this whole list of vendors and people he's used to working with, and that's typical, right? You're a pro, you got your team. But there's one guy in town here, and I'll make this story really quick. Adam Goodkin of Simply the Best Magazine. He has a whole marketing division, all that kind of stuff. I like Adam, but you know, there's some concerns here a little bit. But I said, Teddy, look, I'm going to have you introduce him. I want him to do his little gig. I want him to come in. And I had only seen him initially, and I felt pretty good about it. I was going to hire him anyway. But so I said, well, I want to be respectful of Teddy, brand new, and he has his own team. So when Adam comes and does his presentation, right, which was a good presentation, he's solid, he had his information, but not. It was almost like me taking the 5 listings and calling people. He asked us to sign the paper, said, okay, we're getting signed up, right? And I said, because I knew Teddy's position, I said, you know, Adam, I said, well, Teddy's just gotten started. I said, he has his network people too. He had a couple other people going to talk about it. You know what he said? Well, I got this on camera. So he says, come on, look at this. Drop this bad he says, what the F is this? You interviewing me? Because he knows I know who he is. He has the magazine. He's got a lot of power. And he says, F you, I don't want to work with you. Now, it was tongue-in-cheek, but I had been around long enough, he meant what he said. And I said, Adam, hold on 1 second. You know, and then we started laughing a little bit. So I said, I like your style. Tony happened to walk in and said, I like this guy's style. Anyway, we hired him that day, long story short. So when you're confident in your numbers, and you're confident in what you do, and you look that you should be listened to. So if you're not being listened to, check yourself. Check yourself, right? Make sure you check up on your own information. And sometimes you might just have someone that, no matter what you tell them. Have any of you had that seller? I just had that seller on a public pricing opportunity. You know what it cost him? I got his house appraised for $1.6 million. You know what I sold it for? 6 months later, and public pricing usually is done in 45 days or less. I had him on $1,450,000 that I could have got done 4 months ago. You know what I sold it for? $1,315,000. Bad decision to me. Very bad decision. I still sold it. Huh? Well, yeah, and so you gotta, and I had pretty good information. He spent $20,000 on marketing in 1 month with me in the public pricing program. He had all these people. We brought 40 people through the house in 1 month. Come on, but he didn't listen. So you're going to have some of that, but stick with them. Don't lose them. Bring me in, bring Paul in, you know, whatever. Bring a partner in that has more experience than you or whatever. Don't lose it. If you have a chance for a listing, folks, to me, listing, one listing is gold. Because it's not just a commission on that listing, it's your career. I'm telling you, a listing can make or break you. because you can't be listless in this business. Now, if you're specializing in buyers and you live at a resort, and fine, do that. But that's different. If you're selling timeshare and you're only working with buyers, that's fine. But if you really want to be in the business, you gotta be a lister.
Fred,
So,
let me dial it back also. If you don't have $35 million and $35,000 in your budget, I just offered my seller, because he's the only one that ever listened. The acreage is a little weird. You know, sometimes you have houses that have barns and sheds and garages and, you know. I said, get an appraisal, get an inspection, and on the listing agreement, I'll pay you back at closing. It's $1,000. He's also married to me now, because if he ever leaves me, he's gonna lose that $1,000.
did you all hear that?
And I don't have to come up with the money up front.
Repeat that one more time. I want to make sure the camera got it. So tell us what you did again.
So even if the house is not unusual, this particular house is unusual in the acreage, which every house is. I told him to go get an inspection, go get an appraisal, and I'll reimburse you at closing. It'll cost me $1,000. It's a $575,000 listing, even a $350,000, even a $250,000 listing. Because let me tell you what happened today. The sign, this is exactly what he's talking about. My sign is on the corner, it's still on a dirt road. A woman called me yesterday, can I come see your house? Non-represented. I showed it to her this morning before I came here. She goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, I live 2 houses down. I don't think she can afford this house, but guess what? I'm gonna list her house now, and then I'm gonna sell her something else, and I already gave her my mortgage broker's information, because I'm not gonna touch her with a 10-foot pole till she
What did
gets
you give her?
qualified.
Mortgage broker what?
Information.
Information.
Frank
Keep going.
Cristiano, who'll do it for me on New Year's Eve. Make sure you have a good mortgage broker who will do it at 7 o'clock at night, because we're on a Sunday. That's what you need. So they're gonna get her qualified. So I'll list her house, sell her a house, still have my 575 listing sitting there, but that's okay. It's like flypaper. It'll attract more buyers and sellers. Listings are money in the bank. You can be in Timbuktu and you're still gonna make money because you have a listing. If you're not here to take your buyer around, yes, you have team members and whatever, but your house, I've sold houses, the deals fell through 3 times. The guy stuck with me because of, I managed his expectations, talked to him. He stuck with me. It took me 5 months, 3 deals, but I sold the house. If I have a buyer and the deal falls through, you know, you never know.
In 2000, I tell the story when I opened my own company after leaving the consultant position and my sales position I had with the Kai's company. I opened a brand new company, so I was hiring this marketing person named Lisa Riddle. Lisa, I wanted her to learn marketing, but the goal was her to convert to a licensed agent. So she went out one day when I was taking a listing, getting her ready for the market. Came by, they were driving, and I said, for sale owner sign. I go, whoop, 1 second. She was just my second, I think her second day with me. So we stopped. I go, she says, oh, boy, what are you doing? I said, oh, we're going to go knock on this door. We're going to knock on the door. I said, listen, if you're becoming a realtor, you got to. We just listed this here, and I just sold one 3 months ago. Knock on the door. No answer. Leave my card. Please give me a call. I saw your sign. Please give me a call. I need to talk to you. I always like to say, I need to talk to you. I got a call. Hi, this is Lise Morrison. How may I help you? Her voice was. Lise Morrison was an attorney who was getting married. So Lise says, well, thank you for dropping by, but I'm a lawyer. I don't need your help. I said, Lise, I agree. I said, let me tell you what I did. By the way, this is quickly going before some my own addendum. Is that I said I have a program called For Sale Owner Success Kit that I guarantee you, if you use it, you'll get more money for your house, you'll sell it at least amount of time, and you won't have to pay me a commission. And I said, look, you may grade away, you may be suspicious because you're an attorney, most of you really are. And I got a laugh. I said, most of you usually are. I said, but I'm telling you, if you give me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, let me show you myself. She goes, just send it to me. Nope, I'm not sending it to you. I said, come on. And I just pushed her. You only do one thing on the telephone, sell one thing on the telephone. What? An appointment, right? So I sold an appointment. Long story short, Lise Morrison. I got out there. I said, here's my seller. Here's the For Sale. This is going to be on there, by the way. Here's my For Sale Owner Success Kit. Here's this, here's that. I took the contract and I went like this. Did I have a contract highlighted in there? I said, you don't need this. You're an attorney. But she started saying, I got to do this. 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 I got to have that. Blah, blah, blah. So and I said, she said, Fred, look, you know what? I like you. She said, get those down. I said, well, thank you, Lise. I really appreciate that. She said, not only that, my boyfriend is selling a home in Coral Springs. Can you go call him? His name's Keith. Wrote them down. Please call him. He's got to get that on the market. We got to go find a house. Listed. That was 3 about 350 about. His was like 400 something. They went out and bought a 575. This is back to 2000. So they get married. Bells and weddings and became good friends. 6 months later, I get a call from Lise. Fred, it's not working out between Keith and I. I'm getting a divorce. Can you help me? I said, let me check my account. Yeah, I can help you. Sold that house, sold her house, sold her boyfriend house. All within like less than about a 2-year period. Well, then her mom passed away. So this is the listing. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. You've got to list, folks. From now on, if I see you in this office, I'm going to say, how many listed you have? If I can remember the next week and you don't have one, I'm going to say, hey, remember that donkey story I told you about? You know, put your signs up. How many of you have magnetic signs on your right now? 1, 2 people. Wow. You think we have a little bit of a problem with understanding what business you're in? What's the second business you're in? Not information, but what's your second business you're in? You're not in real estate business, you're in the... Thank you, marketing. Someone else said advertising. You're in the marketing business, right? You're in the marketing business. And it's, again, it's all BS, our belief systems. Maybe magnets don't work. Well, I don't know, I'm a little embarrassed to have a sign on my car, blah, 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 blah. You know, and in your sign, if you really want to get listings saying, hey, I specialize in getting homes sold sooner than anyone else for more money than anyone else, please call me. Just don't put your name and your face on it. That's, you should figure out what your specialty is. Or you could just be generic, but generic doesn't always work. Okay, another listing story like that. This is perfect. Anybody else a chain of events because of one listing? Anybody? A chain of events? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, I had a listing, and then they were getting married to buy something on Port St. Lucie. So I sold their property and I sold them new construction on Port St. Lucie.
Okay. Anybody else? Chain?
Two of my best clients started, one was a rental, one was a buyer, both turned into at least 4 or 5 other transactions.
Yeah.
So that was two
That's
clients. That made my whole year.
Yeah. Listings, especially you got to have 50 open house signs. You've got to hold open houses. If you have, how many of you have been on mymorningmindset.com? Please go to mymorningmindset.com and you know, look at that site. That's George Philbeck. You need to be in his line to have access to it. You got to call me or text me for the password. It is a proprietary thing, but it's okay. You know, if you're not in it, I can help you with some of the ideas. I just can't give you the password. My Morning Mindset, he has a really powerful program on making open houses successful, you know, and how to multiply, get people in and have okay? Have you taken that one?
Yeah.
Kathleen? Yeah. So anyway, just quickly, I mentioned the for sale owner package that goes in your listing kit if you're calling a for sale owner. Please, I want to see some for sale owners get captured by eXp agents. I don't have time to go out and do this. And if you all don't do it, I'm going to go out and take them.
So what is a great catchphrase for a person that you know that is selling their place and wants to do it themselves because they think they can do it? And so what do you say?
And they got 50,000
You're going to do it for them. You're going to say, I'm glad you told me that. And you're going to love what I tell you right now. I'm going to do it for you for free. It's okay. I'll do it for you. Let me come over. I'm going to show you my selling success kit. I'm going to make sure you're successful. And you go through this. You go over the safety tips. If they're going to be showing their house or something. You go over the contract. You go over the critical date checklist that they need once they get a sale. You want to go over the contract. You say, make sure these highlighted parts are in the contract. If you want me to look at the contract for you, I'll be glad to do it. You just give. You give.
Where do you get?
This is your workplace. Everything's going to be your workplace. The under South Florida group, okay? Then you say, you know, once you get a contract, I'll be glad to look at it for you. Now, Mr. Seller, you're probably sitting here wondering, why is he going to do this for me? Let me tell you why. Because I hope you're successful. And I hope that I can save you a listing commission. You know why, Mr. Seller? If I do that, you think you might like me a little bit, you think you might tell your other friends that I'm a pretty darn good guy. Not only that, how many buyers you're going to get for one house? You're only going to get one buyer. I have a bunch of other houses. You may even give me your buyer leads.
Really going to move somewhere.
It's win-win. But that's not the whole point of what you do, right? Yeah, they're moving too, right? You're going to sell them something perhaps. That's another good point. I'm going to sell you something. But I'm here purely altruistic here. I'm here to help you. I don't want you to go alone. It's not good. Here's just the safety tips alone. I don't want to print out the stories, but please go to Google and type in people selling houses on their own, the crimes. It's ridiculous. There's still that out there. And because they're out there, trust me. And you just say, here, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. And they say, by the way, while I'm here, I'm just going to leave this for you. Is that a listing agent, by the way, you think you're saving 3%, Mr. Seller, but a listing agent shouldn't, it won't cost you money. Don't make your money. Let me show you how I'll make your money just quickly. I'm going to leave this with you. Thank you very much. Call me if you get a contract. Well, no, wait a minute. Don't go anywhere, Fred. What'd you say? And I can tell you story after story after story for sellers. The ones that have slammed the doors in my face. The ones that I would get a seller turn me down. And then a year and a half later, when I was prospecting for expireds, that same for sale owner I recognized. That was before computers, that was before CRMs. I recognized the name, I recognized the address. Guess who got that expired, Steve? I did. I said, oh, I was there a year ago. It's fun, it becomes fun.
I'm confused about how they wouldn't pay anything for listing with you.
Okay, you're a seller, right? You're sitting, I call you first of all. I say, hi Joanne, this is Fred Defalco. I see you're selling your house with a loan. I know you've been bothered by a lot of real estate agents. That's not my purpose in calling you. I don't want to list your home. I'm calling to tell you I have a seller success plan where I help a for sale owner.
No, I heard that part.
Yeah.
You said, okay, when they do, oh, I want to list with you, but you're still saying that we'll make you more money and don't worry about the listing fee?
No, again, stay in the for sale owner mode just for a moment. Joanne, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you a contract to make sure there's a guideline. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you my mortgage broker name. I have a whole list of providers in there. You need to do some work. I'll talk about staging your home for you. I'm going to do all the work I normally would do for a listing, except you're going to implement it. And I want to help you do that so you're successful and you're safe in selling your home yourself. Now I've got an audience. Now I do, exactly. I got an audience with you, right? Have you ever, you're licensed massage therapist, right? That was your business. Have you ever given a free massage when you first started?
Didn't have to, but
Well,
yeah,
some people do. A free chair massage or,
other things, other like reading, yeah.
So it's the same thing. You're going to give a service, so you get an audience. Just use it. You put the nail ahead, come on. So then you can say, by the way, you may not be aware, but the right listing is it won't cost you money. They'll make you money. Because you know what's interesting with for sale owners? We're all taught this, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's deceptive. Hey, I see you're selling your house. You know, if I brought you a buyer, I just want to stop by and see your house. I hate that approach. I think it's dishonest. I think it's not full of integrity. It's not good, in my opinion. And there's a lot of national trainers that train them. Hey, if they're willing to pay the buyer, they just get in front of them, then see them. Go real. How many of you are new to the business? There's a lot of national trainers running around and say, if somebody asks you how long you've been in the business, what are some of the things you've heard to tell people? I've heard people say, well, ask them how long you think I've been in the business. I've heard national trainers say that. That's nuts. You be real. You're a real person. Say, hey, I'm glad you asked me that. I am brand spanking new. I haven't had my first sale yet or my first listing. I'm hoping this is it. And guess what? If you give me this listing, I only have one to concentrate on. And my team, matter of fact, I'm going to bring Paul Saperstein by here tonight. And go make him come out there at 9 o'clock at night. Or if he doesn't, I will. If I can help you get your first listing, I just love agents to get a listing because that will change your career. So you be real. And the same with the for sale owner. I love helping for sale owners because they made me a #1 salesperson in my first year in the business, for sale owners. And I don't care how mean they were, and the meaner they were, they usually ended up being the nicest ones. And the most faithful to me, as far as referring me up a business. Listings. Let's keep going, this is good. Open, it's your meeting. Anybody else? That's good, that was good, Joe. Good question.
Divorces are good too. I've co-listed with other agents. You only get 1.5% on the listing. You make friends with the other agent, but then you sell them the house that they need to go to. So maybe you take a little less on the listing side. Again, your sign's out front, you're having open houses, you get unrepresented buyers. It's almost like having a storefront.
Right.
And then you're selling them the house that they need, in a divorce.
Good point. Super. Anybody else? Any questions? Everyone know where this is? It's in workplace under documents.
It's not coming up. It's called the South Florida Group.
Yeah, you're not in there. You're not in that line, but I'm gonna send it to you. Don't worry about it, because she is so good. Introduce yourself. And what you guys have the office up in
Loxahatchee.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
So those of you that don't know me, I'm Sherry Roberts. These are my guys right here. Anyone who's new to eXp, it's a different type of mentorship. It's a less percentage. I answer my phone 24/7. My husband's not thrilled with that, but that's okay. When the checks come in, he's happy. I will help you with all of your transactions. One of my people call it real estate jail. I'll keep you out of real estate jail. How do I show houses? I'm on the app files with you. So you can be on vacation. I'm over here, down in wherever we are. And he's bartending at night. I'm doing his app file with him. I'll help you make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. Not how to get business, how to do your business, and how to do everything correctly and make sure it's, and if I don't know, Andrew Schock now knows me. I go in there and how do you want me to do this? Because I'm not the broker anymore. You know, there's some questions that
Right.
only he can answer.
And your husband's in business with you?
No, that's, no.
Who's your partner?
Chad's my work husband.
Oh.
Chad has his own
That's why you got
husband.
the work husband at home.
Yeah, he has his own husband. So yes, Chad owns the office and I was the broker before we switched to
That's
eXp.
what it was, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, and folks, you know what? eXp, please, please, please. You got, you know, how many of you heard of Justin Himmelbach went to Keller Williams? Because his fiance fell in love with some other women. It was good, but listen, life is life, right? And you know, it's, you know, when I asked Justin when we were talking before he was leaving, I was trying to get him to understand, and I tried to get him to implement a strategy. Let Shelby go first. Get used to it and make sure before you walk away from what you're walking away from. He's walking away from
He double cap.
He was double cap, he was going icon. So anyway, we had this long heart-to-heart, but it was just, the emotions was going too strong, right? But I asked him key questions. I said, Justin, let me ask you a question. Will you be honest with me if I ask you a couple questions about eXp? Because he was saying, well, eXp is not what I said. Justin, how many icon meetings have you been to on Friday at 11:30? He said, what is that? Folks, if you're not in the icon meeting, yeah, I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to be real strong about it. If you're not in the icon meetings on Fridays, you should just exit the business now. If you have a chance to learn from icon agents every Friday that they're dedicating and volunteering their time like I am right now, and you don't show up, shame on you. Shame on you. I mean, that one question when I asked him, I was so, because you know what? It was great, he did 11 million. Had he added every Friday at 11:30 to his career, I think he would have done 30 million. Where's Paul? You know, Paul capped out at 50 deals, right? And he told the story, he was driving down the highway, and he finally told him, wow, what Fred used to talk about. Sphere of contact, the sphere of influence, past customer clients in my database, working. He went to 100 deals the very next year. I think Justin would have done 20 million had he answered that question. Oh yeah, I was every Friday, I don't like it, because if you go every Friday, you're not going to get that answer. I've only heard one or two that weren't that great, the other ones were unbelievable. And forget just the icon meetings. I mean, it's so low. Ken, if I told you that, I would do you irreparable harm, because you need to go to Enterprise. How many of you know what a training calendar is? You go to Enterprise, down on the right-hand side, it says training calendar. When you click the training calendar, it's all in Pacific time. It goes to put it in your calendar, it looks like it's putting it in a specific time, but it doesn't. It puts it in the Eastern time for you, so pay attention to that. So go to Enterprise. You've got to have your Enterprise open all day long when you're with eXp. You don't have to have the world open necessarily. That's for support and action. But you've got to have your Enterprise open. That's your lifeline. That's where workplace is. That's where your rev share is. That's where everything is. It's your back office. And I'm going to challenge you all. Don't ask a lot of questions. And that's not funny. I mean, I did the same thing. Okay? I asked you, but George is the one that set me straight. My sponsor. Well, up Tony. I called him one time. He said, Fred, I'm done with you. I'm not answering another question. Go to the damn system. We got $1 billion system. Use it. He told me off. I love it. I'm glad he did. I became system dependent. Because that system is phenomenal. And what happens, it becomes the opposite if you don't use it. It's like anything else. If you don't use it, you lose it. And then you lose interest in it. It's almost like a relationship. Right? It's a marriage, whatever it could be. It's the same thing. You fall out of love. You came here because you loved it, but then the people want to pay you because they don't use it. They don't take advantage of it. All right. All right. Good. Hopefully that was helpful. You got some things out of that. Go to the workplace. I'll help you with the list again. I'll send you the files. Okay. And anything else? Good. Anything else?
Yeah, no, they have that one. They take this week.